Welcome back to our regular program on Wong Sun and Wing Chun Kuen Hock. Today it's the 28th episode in the series, and given that we've been getting some feedback from people within our classes as well as viewers who are watching the programs, we did ask for suggestions and we've been getting some very good ones, and one that's become a common suggestion is about the footwork. Although back in episode number 9 we sort of did a quick overview of the footwork, it wasn't the detail that obviously people are looking for. So what we're going to do is a short series, which may be 3 or perhaps 4 episodes in a row, where we're going to feature the footwork absolutely. So starting with the basic stance, which is where it all begins, the Seung Ma is how all the footwork originates. This is basically the only stance in Wing Chun. My way of looking at things is that everything we do with our feet needs this to be done. If you can't do the Seung Ma, you can't do the footwork. Because whatever direction we might be moving, whether it's forward, whether it's backwards, whether it's turning, even whether it's a kick, it requires this particular structure for that to function. So we start most of the footwork ideas from here. However, for a beginner, it's a little more difficult to learn the forward steps from here straight away. So we usually tweak it a little bit. So the first thing we do is usually get people to line up with one foot already in front of the other. Technically speaking, this is already Seung Ma, and we've just turned it. But because of the nature of the human skeleton, the moment you turn things, everything's a little bit distorted. So we make a small consideration by moving the front foot across. That means what I'm looking for is to have the toe area of my front foot lining up with the heel area of my back foot. What that does is allow me to face square. So I get Tsun, which is something we discussed a few episodes ago, to be able to be absolutely square. If you keep the heels in exactly the same line they were in when you did the Seung Ma, the problem is your body fights you and you can't get all the way around, and there's always going to be a pulling on your body to pull you away. By moving the foot across slightly, that alleviates that problem. Now, as far as the moving, Wing Chun moving is very unique because we want to fight up close. So we don't want to practice big steps. Big steps would be a waste of time. This footwork is going to be used within close range fighting. So the steps don't need to be more than a few inches each way, whether I'm going backwards or forwards. So the basic way of moving is, if I want to go forward, steer with the front leg, drive with the back leg. Think of it as old style 80s, 70s and 80s typical car, rear wheel drive. Steer at the front, drive at the back. You keep your hips tucked in and it's automatic, because with the structure you've made with your stance, the back foot wants to push you. If I'm going backwards, I simply reverse it. We don't want to go backwards too often, but it is something you need to practice, because not only does it increase your ability to get good balance and structure, you might need to go backwards in an emergency before you can recover your line. We've already kind of talked about that before, so you can refer back to a few episodes. All right, I'll stop this one here. We'll go on to part 2 and I'll go into more detail. See you then.